Greetings all you next of Minds Crimes, and today I just want to talk about the upcoming weapon changes, mostly talking about the primary changes because I don't really care about melee. Melee is still going to be overpowered. We all know this. It's still going to be very powerful. Anyway, we're getting a bunch of new mods, which I kind of predicted that we were going to get new mods. DE wasn't about to add some of these things into guns themselves because, you know, that would only make sense, I guess, but whatever, the mods are fine. We're also going to get primary arcanes, which is cool. So, basically, what these changes are going to do, let's take the Trumna as an example. So this is my, Trumna build for corrosive. This thing hits really hard right now, but once we get the galvanized mods, that will give, say, the split chamber effect, but on kill, and it will stack. Give the serration effect on kill, but will stack. But of course, this will not be, this won't be a mod. This will be an arcane. So I wonder if serration will stack with the arcane. Point strike will be on kill and will stack. So it won't be exactly point strike, but it probably will give even more critical chance than point strike when it's fully stacked up. Anyway, so all these changes, what's going to happen is weapons, once they start getting kills, once you start getting kills with weapons, which wouldn't be too hard, really, they're going to start hitting really hard. So there is that. We'll also get some reload speed buffs with certain arcanes and maybe even some certain mods. So primed fast hands, I might remove this. Depends on, everything that goes on. But, the Trumna without primed fast hands has a 5-second reload speed, and that's not cool. But now I want to talk about the set of weapons that I think are going to benefit the most from this, and that's beam weapons. So if you don't know how beam weapons work, they're already really powerful. This beam weapon right here, my Augur Apparatus primary Vermis Splicer, with this build, shreds everything in the game, including Steel Path, especially when I'm using a Warframe buff, or if the enemy's armor gets stripped a little bit, then this thing just tears through them. Especially if I'm using the corrosive build, and then my my Panzerable Phyla procs them with viral. So with beam weapons, one of the mods is going to give this more range per kill. I don't think it's going to affect how many enemies it chains to, but if that's the case, holy fuck. The Kuva Nucor is getting nerfed, thank Christ. We all saw it. We all saw it coming. So I'm also wondering if we're going to get like fire rate mods that, stack per kill, or with beam weapons, you don't use ammo for a certain amount of time. If you get, I don't know, a status proc or something, there's a million different things that they could do. But here's another concern that I have with this, though. With kit guns, are we going to be able to put on 2 arcanes? Or is it going to be a case of where, this arcane slot is just, for the new style of arcanes? If that's the case, that's completely fine. Also, Ruinous Extension and Sinister Reach are becoming Exilus mods, which they should have been already. So, okay. So going on with the point strike thing. So this is going to stack. Not the 150% critical chance, it's going to be like 80% critical chance, but it's going to stack quite a few times and greatly surpass point strike. I don't think point strike and this and point strike will be able to... I don't think this, what I'm trying to say is, this mod right here, point strike, will not be able to be used with the galvanized point strike. So, even if that's the case, this is going to go over 100% critical chance. Couple that with the fact that orange crits and red crits do way more damage, and you can start to see where the damage on beam weapons are going to scale really quick. Am I predicting that the primary Vermis Splicer is going to be so overpowered that they have to nerf it? No. All I'm saying is, beam weapons are going to just most likely come out of nowhere and hit really hard, especially some beam weapons like, I don't know, the Ignis Wraith. The Ignis Wraith is going to be very strong. It already is pretty strong. So there is that. Now, a class of weapons I don't think seeing too many changes really is sniper rifles, because they're not adding any like AoE things to it yet. What I could see happen is there's a skill in Payday 2 called Graze. What that does, when it's aced, you headshot someone, and in a small AoE, 100% of that damage is spread out. That could happen with sniper rifles. If that happens, that's going to be so sick. Because essentially, you headshot one enemy and you headshot the entire group, and they all just fall. Because something like the Vectis Prime or the Rubico Prime don't fuck around. They hit really, really hard. So, my big question, though, when it really comes down to these galvanized mods, how effective and how powerful are they going to make guns? Just by looking at their stats, like, okay, the stacks, so it's going to be strong, but we have not gotten our hands on them yet, and we will soon. So, anyway, going back to, like, split chamber. If you don't know, with beam weapons, you don't get multiple beams, your raw damage just goes up. So, with more multi-shot, the raw damage on beam weapons is just going to go up and up and up. So, another weapon that... Here's the crazy thing. The comb. I am actually very curious and a little terrified of just how powerful the Kuva comb will become after this change, because it's a gun that already destroys Steel Path. Believe it or not, a gun can kill Steel Path. I know it's hard to believe, but it's the truth. This thing doesn't fuck around. So there's that. Now, another weapon that I'm curious about is the Kuva Ogress. Are they really going to let us fire, say, 5-6 rockets per shot? Here's what I think is going to happen, though. I think AoE weapons might be excluded from some of these mods, because if you were able to fire like 6 rockets at once out of something that is as powerful as the Kuva Ogress or the Kuva Brahma, that's going to skew players to only use those 2 weapons and nothing else. Because, you know, you have to hit the highest damage numbers. You have to kill 3,000 enemies per shot, or the gun is MR fodder sort of mentality. So my prediction with that is that you can still stack up and get a bigger multi-shot than this, but it would, you know, stop at a much lower number. Say instead of firing 6 rockets, you fire 3 rockets, or you have guaranteed 2 rockets. This is almost guaranteed 2 rockets. So there's that. Maybe it would be something along the lines of, at max, it'd be this kind of multi-shot, which means you fire 2 rockets and have 50% chance of firing a third. And even with that, that is going to be very, very potent when it comes to AoE weapons. So another funny consequence of this is, well, something like the Panthera Prime. Yeah, the Panthera Prime, with these changes, when it has more multi-shot, when it has a lot more critical chance when aiming, because it's on aim instead of, you know, just on headshot. I wish it was on headshot that it's stacked. You know, all you got to do is get headshots and you can activate it. That'd be better. If you don't know how the saw blades fire, then, well, let me explain it to you. It basically fires on like nearly the outside of the reticle. It's not like down the middle. So this thing's going to basically turn into a shotgun. So that's going to be pretty crazy. I do have this multi-shot ribbon. Another thing, ribbons. Oh my fucking Christ. Ribbons. If you have a good ribbon like this, this Panthera Prime, my Panthera Prime, this is going to be the first weapon I try with these upcoming changes. I'm going to get the arcane for more damage. I'm going to get all the mods that I need. I'm going to get the critical chance one. I'm going to get the multi-shot one. And on video, we'll see just how potent this thing becomes. So I'm actually pretty excited for the gun changes. Another thing with the Trumna, the alt fire is going to be really, really broken. Like, the alt fire is going to just obliterate everything. So, getting more raw damage, plus more multi-shot, plus more critical chance, on paper, you don't think it sounds like too powerful. Like, okay, but you have to, you have to stack up. It takes a bit. But I don't think so. I really do think that these gun changes are going to make a big difference. However, I don't think they're going to make that big of a difference in Steel Path. I think only certain guns will be able to take down Steel Path pretty quickly. The Trumna might be one of them because it can already sort of can with the right setup. But here's the thing. Not a lot of players play Steel Path from what I know. You only really play it every now and then to test your stuff out, right? There's no real incentive to play Steel Path. So these weapon changes for me is going to make arbitrations, long disruptions, other things like that, any other new content, the Sisters of Parvos, a lot easier to deal with guns. So you're not just, doing this for like 30 minutes straight. No one likes doing this. Also, real quick with the melee changes, I cannot wait to hear some people bitch and complain that their favorite sword can't red crit anymore without using the Helios. It doesn't hit 1,000,000 damage. It only hits around 500,000 damage / ticks. Some people are going to complain about that. I'm just going to sit back, eat some popcorn, and laugh because it won't matter because, the Cronin Prime still exists, and, these things are probably going to get nerfed. I wouldn't be surprised. Glaives are getting nerfed with their melee throw, so there's that. I like the Oma better anyway because they're cooler. So the Pangolin Prime's also really, 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 really overpowered. Well, all melee is super strong. I mean, fuck. I already did a video of me killing Steel Path. Where is it? Where's this? Where's this little piece of shit? Where's the... With the Mark 1 bow, not the bow, but the Mark 1. I killed Steel Path with the fucking Mark 1 bow. Melee is not going to be changed enough to make that big of a difference. Also, secondaries are getting the same kind of love. So we'll see how that affects them. My prediction is they're going to be very, very, very powerful. They're already still pretty strong because their mods are very powerful. But something like the secondary Tombfinger is going to be pretty strong. What other secondaries do I have that might be a good example? Good thing this thing's being nerfed into the dirt where it belongs. Oh, the Stubbas. The Stubbas might be a lot of fun because we can get... Oh, I forgot I had a ribbon. Interesting. Meh. So, more reload speed with these things are... You're good... I swear... And the twin Grakatas. It's just going to be a whole lot of fun just going full akimbo, Rambo style, and just laying down just, so much power on swaths of enemies. So, there's that. So it will have, the whole like barrel diffusion, but it'd be like the stacking variety. I don't know if it's going to get even... I don't know if the critical chance is going to be bigger than Prime Pistol Gambit. Really, my prediction is you cannot use both at once. And to be frank, they would have to give us more mods slots if we were able to do that. Because you can't really replace anything on here. I would never replace Seeker on... never replace Punch Through on any of my guns that aren't AoE because it just makes them better. But yeah, we'll definitely see just how how powerful some guns get. Some weapons that already hit really hard, like sniper rifles, the Prisma Grenlock, the Trumna, the primary Spore Lacer, the secondary Spore Lacer, the primary Vermis Splicer. Those sort of guns, they're going to be really strong Do I think they're going to be, you know, 100% meta? You have to use them to kill Steel Path? No. First off, meta in Warframe, get out of here. Second off, they're going to be very, very powerful. But, you know, that's just my predictions with everything. And so am I 100%, you know, happy with how these gun changes are being implemented? Not really. My prediction a long time ago when they said they were going to be updating guns, I thought they were going to give all guns a condition overload type effect or, you know, combo counter, but that still might happen eventually. Maybe this is just like the first step of really buffing guns. They could have something up their sleeves that just make guns so damn powerful that melee is just melee. It's not like this thing where you hit an enemy twice at level cap with one mod and they die, sort of thing, where you could do the same thing with guns. That might happen. I really do want melee and guns to be even. I don't want to see one fall off and I don't want to see just melee get, you know, shoved in the dirt and never be super strong again. It's got to be powerful, right? It's melee. But, you know, I also want it to be more skill based and not just, you know, this. I want it to, it would be really, really cool if they actually implement more combo types into the game where you actually have to do a button combination to do certain combos. Where, you know, you could like lift some enemies into the air and do some Devil May Cry shit. That'd be cool. And take a lot of skill to do. That would be awesome. But they will never do that because people complain about it because I can't just mash E and win sort of mentality. Anyway, that's my rant on this sort of overview on everything. So, the gun changes that are coming up. My prediction is they're going to make some guns really, really powerful when you get everything, you know, worked up and stacked and you got everything going. So, on day one, we'll see how everything is. I've already been saving up some Vitus Essence to buy this shit. So, hopefully the arcanes are actually in the Vitus Essence store and not in the reward pool for arbitrations. DE, don't fucking do that. The reward pool and arbitrations is already a fucking clusterfuck. So don't do that. And also, don't do that ×2 because then people are going to be spending and selling them for exuberant amount of platinum. Probably even more than Arcane Energize, which is disgusting. Nothing should go over 1,000 plat. Nothing. Not even low-key Prime. Who even cares about low-key? I don't. I know. Blasphemous. I've never played him, so I wouldn't know. But he seems boring. Anyway. That's all I gotta say. Gun changes coming up. Are they good? They good? They bad? We'll just see. My prediction is they're gonna be good. They're gonna be very helpful. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.